welcome back to my channel. Today I have a monthly September message for all of the Aries out in the collective. Please note that this is going to be a general reading, so it will not resonate with every single Aries out in the collective. I ask that you take with you what resonates and leave the rest behind. If you are new to my channel, welcome to Eileen Into Spirit. My name is Eileen Rouse. I'm a psychic intuitive, spiritual coach, and I provide you with guidance, wisdom, and inspiration every week right here on this channel. Without further ado, let's get into your message, Aries. All right, Aries, you know the drill. We are going to do a 9-card draw. If we need to clarify any cards already on the table, we will do so with a separate deck. So let's see. Angels, archangels, guides, ascended masters, what information and what insight do you have for Aries this month? What information and what insight do you have for Aries this month? Did something flip over? No. What information and what insight do you have for Aries this month? Okay. What information and what insight do you have for Aries this month? Keep seeing stuff turn over, but then it's like not revealing itself. So I'm thinking it's like turning and then it's going back around. What information and what insight can you provide Aries this month? What information and what insight can you provide Aries this month? Okay, Aries, you've got a lot going on here. 2 more, please, for Aries. Ooh, my ear is ringing right now. All right, Aries. Apparently this is going to be a good message for you because my right ear was ringing, which means that my guides are usually coming right in. All right, Aries. So where you currently are. So remember when we do this 9-card draw, the first card represents where you currently are. So currently you are in the 5 of Cups right now. And this 5 of Cup energy is kind of a very interesting energy because the 5 of Cups truly brings into our awareness the things that we are mourning. So this could really represent grief. It can represent loss. It can represent you mourning the loss, or maybe something didn't come to fruition. You didn't really get what you wanted. You thought you were going to get something and then things kind of just fell through. And so this is currently where you are. You are in a state of grief. You're in a state of loss. You're sort of on the what ifs, what could have been. It's that kind of energy. And here's what I want to tell you about this kind of energy here, Aries. What I want you to really notice here is notice how he is grieving these 3 cups that have sort of spilt over. Cups in the tarot truly represent the things that we love, that we enjoy, and that we put fulfillment in, okay? But what I want to point out here is that he is grieving these 3 cups. He's more concerned about what he's lost than what he currently has. Because if he just allowed himself to look behind him, he would recognize that he still has 2 cups. And he would recognize that there is a bridge behind him that he could then he could then travel upon, that would take him to this new town for newer opportunities to replace what he's lost, okay? So this is where you currently are. And I feel it's important for you, Aries, to really sort of look at that. Really allow yourself to sort of focus on what you currently have. Recognize that what you've lost was for a reason. While you might not understand the reasoning behind losing that or not having that, doesn't really make sense to you right now. But I think in the long run, when you look at the bigger picture, it will start to make sense to you. So what is your theme this month? Your theme this month is the 2 of Cups, okay? And what this truly represents is this is you coming into alignment with your higher purpose, your destiny, and your true essence. Like it's your higher self, okay? And I really feel that that's really what this is saying, because I really feel like your theme this month is really going to be centered around you recognizing that your life, the way that it has transpired, the things that you have experienced have led you to this point. So you now ultimately get to make a choice, because remember, you're at this 5 of Cups. So your choice here is you can continue to mourn this loss that you've experienced, or you can focus on what you have and take a new journey on this bridge towards something that would replace that which you've lost. Okay. So ultimately that is your choice. And your theme here is really about recognizing that there is someone, right? Spirit, your higher self, your guides, maybe certain individuals in your life are really helping you come into alignment with who you are meant to become. Recognizing that, you know, you're meant to experience certain things. You're meant to understand the duality of things. So I want you to really understand this, okay? Understand this from the way that they're sort of explaining it to me, or how they're showing it to me, okay? We live in a very 3D world where we have to experience the duality of everything. We have to experience the polarity of everything, okay? And what I mean by that is we cannot truly understand strength without experiencing weakness, right? We cannot experience strength. We cannot truly understand weakness without having to go through experiences that build our strength, right? So understand that everything that you have experienced, that you have encountered, that you have gone through has led you to this point so that you could understand the duality of it. Understand that you had to go through those experiences to get you to where you are now, because it's leading you towards something amazing, okay? I do want to point that out for you here. It is leading you towards something amazing. Now, what do you accomplish this month? Now, if I remember correctly here, Aries, I remember that a couple of months ago, where you currently were was at the 8 of Swords. So what you're accomplishing this month is the 8 of Swords. And I love this. I love this for you for one particular reason here, Aries. Because if I remember correctly, you were currently stuck. You were very stuck. And you were keeping yourself stuck. You were sort of like, it was almost like you were punishing yourself by staying in this position. But what you're accomplishing this month is you're dropping the blindfold. You're recognizing that you have self-imprisoned yourself and you're now leaving this, right? You're seeing things very clearly. You have a much better understanding of why you've experienced what you've experienced, and you've recognized that you're the only one that could really help yourself get out of that situation. And you are taking the necessary steps to get out of it. And that's what I love. I want to also point out that the number 8, okay, the number 8, when you look at it sideways, it can represent two things. It can represent infinity, right? It could represent, and it also represents cycles, okay? But the true essence behind the number 8 is prosperity, it's manifestation, it's abundance. And I think with you really coming to a very clear understanding of you being in your own way, you can now create the reality, a new vision for yourself, a new life, a new job, a new home, whatever that might be. You can now put forth the effort and work towards that, because now you understand. Now you see things clearly. Okay. So that is your theme, what you accomplished this month. Now, what do you need to avoid? Okay, you have the 2 of Pentacles here. And I really feel that what this is really saying is that if you could just imagine yourself holding a match. If you light the match at both ends of the stick, you're going to end up with absolutely nothing. You're going to end up with burnout, right? You're going to completely burn both ends. And what this, I feel, is really trying to tell you is that you need to find balance. Don't overwork yourself. Don't overstress yourself. Don't try to live up to this expectation or this idea that everything has to be done in a certain way at a certain time. Like, don't do that to yourself, because I really feel that what's going to happen is you're going to overwork yourself, you're going to have burnout, and you're going to be utterly exhausted, and you might miss an opportunity that will probably come your way. And because you're so busy juggling everything else, you're not paying attention to what is around you. The number 2, now I really want to point out, you have 2 2s on the board, okay? So the number 2 truly represents duality. Again, I'm bringing up that beautiful word, duality, right? So recognize that you have to find balance between being busy and resting, so that you can be aware of whatever opportunities, whatever comes into your energy field, okay? I really want to point that out. It's important for you to sort of embrace that, or to remember that, because I really feel Spirit wants you to be aware, really wants you to be aware. A 2 of Pentacles is really about balancing, right? Learning that whatever comes our way, we have to learn to either work through it, or we have to learn how to include it. How do we include it into our everyday, right? I really feel this is also about you balancing out your emotions, because I want to point out how the water in the background is kind of like very wavy, and it's sort of like crashing, right? The waves are just really high, tumultuous almost, right? So whatever emotions, and for you, I really feel it's anger here, Aries. I feel that do not let outside circumstances piss you off. Don't let them really get you to a point where it causes you to burn both ends of the stick. This is interesting, because what they're showing me is that you allow everything outside of you. Now, this is everything that you're working on, right? So this could be like your career, your finances, things that bring you that financial security. And then this is like your everyday, like your family, the things that you love, that kind of stuff. You're busy doing your own thing, right? Again, I want you to notice how it looks like an infinity, which is an 8. And the 8 truly represents manifestation. It represents prosperity. It represents abundance, right? So you're busy sort of working on your own thing. And while everyone else is sort of running around chaotically in a panic, and they're trying to make their problems your problems, right? And you, unfortunately, Aries, sometimes take things to the extreme. And you allow outside sources to either persuade you, manipulate you, or trigger you. And what happens is you allow those outside sources to trigger you. And at that point, when it triggers you, you're going to drop one of these things. Like the long and short is you're going to drop one of these things. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be this right here, which is, you know, your health, your well-being, your family, the things that you love and that you enjoy. Like that's usually going to be the one thing that you drop, and you're going to allow other people to sort of replace this, right? Because you're going to be too busy focusing on what other people are doing when you really need to be focusing on what you're doing and learning how to balance. And what I mean by balance here, Aries, is that you need to learn to balance your emotions, learning the difference between responding to a situation, responding to an outcome, responding to an individual versus reacting, okay? Responding, you are taking the higher road. You are tuning into your intuition and to your higher self, and you're allowing yourself to recognize the cons or the pros, okay? And it's sort of like taking a step back and saying to yourself, how would you normally respond in a given situation, right? If you normally reacted verbally and you allowed your anger to take over, then you need to do the opposite, right? Really examine how you would normally react in a given situation. And if you recognize that it doesn't bring you any harmony and it doesn't bring you any balance, then you need to do the opposite of what you would normally do. Because that is That is what this is. This is about you learning to balance all aspects, okay? So what you need to avoid is avoid listening to outside individuals, avoid allowing others to trigger you, and avoid burnout. That is so important. So what do you need to embrace this month? Okay, this is beautiful because what you're embracing this month is the Wheel of Fortune. Now, you want to know what this means? This means that what you're embracing with this Wheel of Fortune is, because it represents a 10, it means that all of the hardships, everything that you've mourned, that you've lost, the things that have not gone your way, is now coming to an end. This Wheel of Fortune is at the heart of your reading, which means that good fortune is on your side. That means things are now about to take a turn. And they're taking a turn because you're stepping out of this Eight of Swords energy, right? This is what you're accomplishing this month. You're stepping out of this Eight of Swords energy and you're allowing things to naturally flow and naturally go the way that they're meant to go. And I really feel that everything that you've experienced up until this point, and this is huge because we just had the full moon in Aquarius this past week. And I love this for you, Aries, because with this Wheel of Fortune, this really tells me that good times are ahead for you. Things are going to start to pick up. You're going to start to experience this new amazing life that is going to sort of reveal itself to you. And you're going to be like, man, I can't believe I'm living my best life ever. And it's because you're doing what needs to be done. Recognizing that you're the only one that can control you. You're the only one that can move you in the direction you want to go. It's no one else's responsibility to make you happy. And it's no one else's responsibility to make your life go smoothly. It's all you, right? This Wheel of Fortune is really about that good fortune that is coming. So it's almost like the wheel of fate is turning in your favor. That's ultimately what it means. So that's what you need to embrace, okay? And I want to really point out that it's going to be very important for you here, Aries, throughout this whole month, for you to really focus in on how you respond and how you react. Remember, the energy that you put out into this world is the energy that you give in. So if you know that the Wheel of Fortune is playing a huge role in your fate, in your destiny, then remember the energy that you want to give is going to be the energy that you want to receive. So keep that in mind here, Aries. Now, what is the obstacle you face? Okay, I want to point out this is huge because this is what I'm really hearing. You have the Nine of Cups, okay? The Nine of Cups is a wish fulfillment, but what I'm hearing for you and why it's an obstacle is because I really feel that there is something that you're trying to, it's almost like you're trying to get something. You're trying to, whether you've, it's something you've been wishing for. And I want to point out, it's not going to pan out the way that you thought it was going to pan out. Like, it isn't going to be exactly what you expected it to be, okay? And it's going to kind of be a little bit of a disappointment for you, but not that much of a disappointment because it is a wish fulfillment, okay? But the obstacle is going to be you recognizing that the only reason why it didn't pan out the way that you wanted it to pan out was because how much energy did you put into it? And really ask yourself, what was your true intention when wishing for that? Because remember, we have to be very mindful of what we ask for, what we wish for, and how much effort we put into it. Because if what we're wishing and what we're trying to manifest, that frequency, if our thoughts and our beliefs do not match that vibration, then it isn't going to come. It isn't going to present itself the way that we want it to present itself. So understand here, Aries, that the obstacle you face is going to be you needing to understand that the amount of effort that you put into the things that you are wishing for or that you are trying to manifest solely depends on your beliefs and how much effort you put into it. Okay? Understand, just because it doesn't fulfill you the way that you thought it was going to fulfill you, do not dismiss it and do not count it as a loss. It's important that you count every experience, every little thing as a win because you're getting something out of it, right? And even if this wish doesn't pan out the way that you wanted it to, understand that what did it teach you? It taught you that number one, you need to be very clear. Your intention needs to be absolutely aligned with this wheel of fortune. Your vibrations must match, and recognize that there is more effort, right? So it taught you that one thing, and that's what's important, okay? Now, what is the support that you have? Because this is a really good layout for you here, Aries. The support that you have is the Knight of Swords in reversed. Now, what this means is that usually when a Knight of Swords is reversed, it really represents that things are not going to be moving as quickly as you would like them to. Okay. You know, the Knight of Swords in its upright position is usually the fastest knight, and it kind of feels sort of chaotic, but I sort of feel like that's behind you now, right? Like I really feel, because it is in your past, I do really feel that all of this chaotic energy, this stress, this anxiety is all behind you, right? So now things are going to sort of be going in a very different direction. Okay, so that is the support that you have. Recognize that everything, again, this is so important because where you currently are is this Five of Cups. And remember, I said you were mourning the loss of what was, right? And you're not focusing on what you have and what could be, right? And with this Knight of Swords in reversed down here in your past, truly tells me that the worst is behind you, okay? You now know what is needed, what is required. You're getting very clear about where you're wanting to go and who you're wanting to be and what that looks like and what it feels like. And so the worst is behind you. So whatever fears that you have associated with not being successful, not being prosperous, not being abundant, you need to let those go. Like completely let those go because you have the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune says that fate is now that your destiny is now moving towards your fate, right? It truly represents your fate. Okay. Now, what is the action you have this month? You have the Hierophant here in reversed. And I think that what this really represents is that the Hierophant in and of itself represents higher learning. It also represents traditions. So I really feel that your action is going to be, you're going to be very tested with what you believe and whether you're going to adhere to old traditions and beliefs that have been passed down from generation to generation. I really feel that you're going to be tested with that because it's going to require a lot of change from you, both mentally and physically. You're going to have to really learn to trust that the information and the guidance that you are getting from your higher self here with this Two of Cups is really, you're going to have to learn to trust it and not second guess it. Okay. Because that is truly going to test your beliefs. Okay. So your action is going to be open. Allow yourself to be open to infinite possibilities, but also infinite ways of learning, because that's really what you're doing. You're learning more about who you are. You're learning more about who others expect you to be and who you're wanting to be. Like those are the things you're learning. So what is the advice and the encouragement that you have here, Aries? I absolutely love this for you. You have the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands represents a victory and success. So what I really feel here for you, Aries, is that although you are starting out in a very sort of sad position, that you're disappointed of where you are moving towards success. You're going to experience a lot of discord with your beliefs, with traditions that have been passed down from generation to generation in your family. And I really feel that doing all of that and allowing yourself to break out of this boxed in sense of who you were is really going to push you towards success. And I absolutely love that for you. So let's get an additional card to see what additional information and insight Spirit has for you this month. I absolutely love this, Aries. So let's see. Angels, archangels, guides, ascendant masters, what additional information and insight do you have for Aries? Oh, you got 2 cards. I love this. Okay, because you know me, I look at numbers. Numbers are very important to me. So the first number you got was 40, which is a 4, which is about your foundation. And I really feel that what you're experiencing right now, where you currently are and where you're moving towards this month, is really about creating a better foundation for yourself, right? The other number was 56, which is an 11, which is about waking up, truly coming into alignment with your higher self. And I absolutely love that. So the 2 cards you got here was mindful, which is groupthink. This is about really paying very close attention to your thoughts and being very mindful of the kind of vibration that your thoughts have. Really recognizing, as I said earlier, you know, the action that you have this month is really looking in at your beliefs, right? What are some of the beliefs that are holding you back from believing that you can be successful, or that you are worthy, or that you are good enough to be who you're wanting to become? So that's really what this mindful is. It's really about it's about mindfulness. The next one we have is the wall, which is obstacles. And I absolutely love this because this really truly represents that any obstacles that we face, it sort of presents itself as a wall. But what we need to recognize is that sometimes we have to dig deep. We have to really allow ourselves to break free from those barriers, okay? And look at obstacles as it's just another stepping stone. It's a way for us to sort of get to where we are going. So I am going to read what it says in the book for both of these cards so that we can get a little bit more insight. So first card, we have mindful, which is number 40. It means keeping a clear mind, hurtful thoughts, and groupthink. The human mind can be so many things: a prison, a latrine, a circus, a temple, a cave. It can be a place of restriction or a place of never-ending expansion. Right now, be careful of where you wander in your mind. The quality of your thoughts is key, so you're in a fertile time for full manifestation. You want to ensure that the seeds you plant will sprout and flourish into the life you seek to grow. Be mindful not to scatter weeds. It's easy to be influenced by others right now too, especially in our digital age. It's hard to protect yourself from the energy and the sheer amount of information bombarding you 24/7. If you allow all the fear and uncertainty to pollute your mind and emotions, you will fill yourself up with this negativity and then see more of it in the outer world. Stay out of gossip and other forms of groupthink, for when you cut another person down to their level due to their perceived mistakes or limit them by your envy, you activate lack for yourself. So fill yourself with thoughts of plenty. Imagine your universe unfettered by scarcity and alive with abundant hope and goodness. Be mindful of what your mind is full of and keep the faith. Good brings more good. Love, more love. Gratitude, more things to be grateful for. That's a beautiful message. And I really think it does encompass everything that we've talked about here for you, Aries. And now we're going to move on to number 56. Which is the wall. Means obstacles, being inconvenienced by life, detours, and non-action. There are moments in your life when you are so geared up, so sure that you are on track, with such drive and momentum, that you are shocked and confused when you encounter a wall. Okay, this really brings up this. The 9 of Cups, because this is your obstacle that you're going to face this month. So pay attention. This unpredictability occurs outside your ability to plan. regardless of if you've done everything right in alignment with the divine. It's imperative that you change your attitude now. This temporary roadblock is not an obstacle to blast through. This is not an invitation to push harder, cancel other plans, or worry about who will win or lose. This is a stopping point to enable you to slow down and contemplate the part of the manifesting equation that you and everyone else forgets. Life on life's terms will override your best laid plans. Yes, as inconvenient as it may seem, this experience is an important reminder that you are a human being, not a human doing. Perhaps you're being reminded of your mortality, or that you are but a small part of a bigger universe, where your destiny intersects with others. Your life may be meant to serve another purpose at this moment, and your attention meant to be directed elsewhere. Consider that this place of temporary non-action is exactly meant to be for you. Perhaps it's because you all desire and have set in motion needs time to coalesce into form on the other side. Could it be that all the elements are not yet in place for its manifestation to be for the highest good of all? Patience is required now, and the wisdom that this might be a great time to take a break and contemplate gratitude. What is truly yours will never be walled off from you. This is your message, Aries, and I absolutely love it. I feel that those two things, both the mindful and the wall, are very important for you, considering that it truly represents what you need to avoid, right? Avoid allowing your other people to determine your actions and burnout, right? You got to find that balance. And I feel it also encompasses the obstacle that you face, which is that 9 of Cups, that wish fulfillment, being disappointed that it might not look the exact way that you wanted, or that it didn't fulfill you the way that, or the way that you had hoped it would, right? So this is your message, Aries. I absolutely love this. Remember that your advice and your encouragement is the 6 of Wands, which is success. You are moving in the direction that you are meant to go. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And I hope that you really, truly take that to heart. Thank you so much for joining me today, Aries, and I look forward to seeing you next time with your new message. Namaste, guys.